Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to Belgium once again. As promised, we're going to make sure the Belgian beer reviews come out a little bit more readily, and this is a brewery who actually do have a really good reputation. So for this one we're going to go to a little village called Dottignes. Apologies if the pronunciation isn't quite right, but it's from very close to the French-Belgian border, and we're going to try my first beer from De Ranke today, Brasserie or Brouwerij, whichever language in Belgium you like to use. But this one is their Double X Bitter, which comes in at 6% ABV. This guy got a 95 overall on Rate Beer and a 99 within the style. They had it listed simply as a Belgian ale, whereas when I looked at the website I got the impression that this is more of a kind of Belgian golden ale, this one, but with a lot more hops in it obviously, hence why it's called Double X Bitter. But it should be a really nice beer, it's got good ratings, and as I always say, it is cool to try beers from some of these smaller breweries in Belgium because you can get some really interesting surprises from them. So I hope you guys enjoy this review and my take on this particular beer. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from De Ranke. This is the very first time I'm trying one of their beers. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Belgian beers that I've reviewed for you, and that's constantly being added to, of course. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys, and the support you give the channel is hugely appreciated. Do in particular let me know about some of the lesser known Belgian breweries, because I know you guys have got some really good stuff down there. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about De Ranke then. So as I mentioned to you, De Ranke are based in Dottignes in Hainaut province in Wallonie in French of course, in southwestern Belgium, and it's actually very close to Ypres, which you'll know if you know your First World War history. Ypres of course is a very historic part of Belgium for that reason. So the brewery is run by Nino Bassel, who had been experimenting with home brewing and brewing beer since 1981. So his family owned a beer bottling and lemonade production facility which opened in Belgium sometime around 1930 under his, I think it was his grandfather, Germain Noffels. So then he passed the company on to his daughter Helene Noffels and his son-in-law Napoleon Bassel in 1948, and they went on to found the Valpo soft drink brand. So Nino started brewing beer in 1981, and he took over the company from his parents with his brother in 1986, and in 1989 they closed down the soft drinks factory, and then Nino's brother took over the brewing part of the business while Nino himself went on to work for a refrigeration company. So after home brewing for a number of years as a hobby, Nino decided to form his own company in 1994, and he brewed his beers at the Deca brewery in Woesten, and the following year he met Guido de Vos, and in 1996 they decided to pool resources and thus marked the birth of De Ranke, which is the name of course which is taken from the vines on which hops grow. So over the next few years they brewed more and more beers, they increased their repertoire, and then in 2005 they opened their own brewery in Dottignes, and they currently export to various different countries. Their exports I believe started around the year 2000, but they employ 6 people and they're gradually expanding their production up to 10,000 hectolitres of beer per year. When I looked on their website earlier, they had 10 or 12 different beers that they were producing, and the brewery of course, like I mentioned, is very highly rated on Rate Beer. They've got lots of different things on there, various different styles, some sours, some dark beers, and then they've got these big hoppy beasts like this one, and there's also the Triple X Bitter as well, which hopefully I can review for you at some point in the future. But that's all you need to know about the brewery just now. We'll get on to the tasting section of this video then. As I say, if you want to learn more about the brewery itself, you can have a look at the website in the description below. It's got Flemish, French and English of course, so knock yourselves out. But anyway, let's go on to the tasting of this beer then. So as I mentioned to you, this one is a 6% Belgian ale. I'll just let you have a little quick look at the artwork again before we open up. As you can see, it's quite a kind of classic style of artwork that they've got. On this one there's a good little bit of sediment there just at the bottom of the bottle there, and you can see on the side here it has the brewery address there, Dottignes, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which I probably am because French isn't the strongest language that I have. Of course, Swedish and German and Japanese I'm better at, but there you can see the Double X Bitter bottle cap on this one. But really nicely presented beer, quite a classic looking one actually. Just looking at this beer, you would never guess that it's actually one of the more modern breweries in Belgium actually. It does look like it's from a brewery that's been around for quite a while. But yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Really looking forward to this one. So I should point out the hops in this one are Hallertau Mittelfrüh from Germany and also Brewer's Gold, also from Germany. But we'll get this guy out then and into the glass and see how we get on. So yeah, as you can see, and as I was mentioning, it seems like it's going to be a nice kind of Belgian blonde style beer, or something like that, but obviously a little bit hopped up. So there, as you can see, this beer's poured a really nice kind of bright yellowy straw colour, this one, a bright pale golden straw. If I hold it up to the light, there's quite a bit of opacity to this beer. There's a lot of little sediment particles just floating around in this one. There's a solid 2 and a bit fingers, maybe 2.5 fingers of a frothy white head on this one. It is perfect white, it's not even creamy. There's a few big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. But overall, you know, it looks exactly how you'd expect for a nice kind of Belgian golden ale or Belgian blonde ale, however you want to refer to this one, but it should be really nice. So let's have a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. You can just detect a little bit of citrus and kind of floral character coming off this one as you move the glass around, of course. But yeah, you know, it does smell like a kind of typical Belgian beer. It's got that nice kind of bready, yeasty character going on with it. A lot of that big white, doughy sort of thing going on. There's a little bit of wheaty character in there, I think. You can detect a little bit of that almost wheaty smoothness to the beer. There's a little bit of spice. I'm not sure if it's coriander, or it's probably not coriander right enough. It's maybe more of a kind of peppery spice coming out of this one. But overwhelmingly the aroma does lean a little bit more to the sort of the malty side of things. I'm not getting all that much in the way of hops when I go a little bit closer into it. You can detect a little bit of grassy and kind of floral thing going on. There's a wee bit of earthiness as well. You always have to expect a little bit of kind of earthy character from these German noble hops. But yeah, there's a little bit of kind of an almost lemongrassy citrus in there and a little bit of sharper citrus as well. But you know, it's kind of what you'd expect. The aroma isn't the most pungent one I've come across, but it smells nice. It smells like a nice kind of inviting sort of Belgian beer, this one. So if you enjoy the aromas of your Belgian beer, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one. So just as I always say, take a little bit of time to mull over the aroma of the beer before you actually have a taste of it. So let's get stuck into this one then. This one is the Double X Bitter from Brasserie or Brouwerij de Ranke, however you want to call it, in Dottignes, near the French-Belgian border in Belgium. Slange. That's a really nice beer, this one. I really like how this one it just comes together really well, actually. So it's the first impression I have of this beer is that it's really kind of nice and easy drinking. There's a good bit of complexity to this as well, so it's a nice easy drinking beer, just with quite a little bit of stuff going on in it, actually. Yeah, you know, I can see right away why this one is quite highly rated, because it's got that nice Belgian complexity to it, but it's a really just easy drinking beer, this one. You can drink quite a few of these very easily, and at 6% it is on the lighter side for Belgian beer. A number of Belgian beers, of course, are way up into the 7, 8s and 9s, but this is really nice. Yeah, if you get the chance, try this beer. To me, this comes across just as a really nice sort of Belgian it's not quite a blonde ale, I would say. It's more of a golden ale, this one, just because of the way the hops come out. It's got a really nice kind of hoppy bitterness to complement the typical sort of Belgian bready sweetness to this one. It is kind of what it says on the tin, if you like, if you can use that phrase with this one. It's just, it does exactly what you'd expect it to. It's nice, light and sessionable, but it's got a good bit of hoppy bitterness to it as well. So as I always say, sugar the beer around your palate and just let the whole mouth adjust to this one before you start analysing the flavour too much. But from this beer, there's a nice sort of light, almost pale malty character, just blankets the middle of your tongue. On top of that, there's a slightly thicker kind of bready, yeasty thing going on, which is what you expect from a Belgian yeast strain, of course. There's a little bit of a kind of peppery spice to this one. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of peppery spice. It starts to come out a little bit more in the aftertaste as the beer just starts to dry up a little bit. but it's really nice. There's almost just a little bit of I'm almost getting just a tiny little bit of biscuity character out of this one. There is a sort of wheaty smoothness to this beer too. But overall, it's to sum up this beer, just from the taste, it's just a very nice, kind of well-blended beer this. I like how this one comes across, so thumbs up to Brouwerij de Ranke for this one. I'd love to try the Triple X, the slightly stronger version, and just see how that comes across, but they've done a nice job with this one. The hoppy side of things is really interesting as well. It's almost like you've taken these German noble hops and just put them on steroids. There's a hell of a lot of bitterness in this one, which of course isn't something that you normally expect from German noble hops. Usually the German noble hops give you just a nice kind of sort of smooth and kind of subtle dryness to the beer, but in this one they're actually quite they're quite prominent, they're quite in your face a little bit actually. So in the back corners of the palate there's a little bit of earthiness. As you come further forward you feel that sort of floral aromaticity coming out of this beer. It is a little bit bitter around the front corners of the palate, and as you go round the very front curve of the tongue you can feel that lighter grassy note in there. It's almost a little bit like lemongrass actually, and of course you've got the fruity aspect to the beer as well. So if you just go behind that front curve of the palate there, that's where you get the little oily bubble where all these nice fruity esters come out, and it's quite a sharp, almost lemony citrus that's coming out of this one. Yeah, it's a slightly lemony and kind of lemongrassy citrus that's coming out of this one, which is what you'd expect from the Hallertauer Milfrüh and also the Brewer's Gold in this one. But it's a really nice beer, this. If you get the chance to try this one, I highly recommend that you do, and I can see why this brewery have got quite a good reputation if they can produce things like this. Yeah, that's nice. The kind of lingering aspects and the aftertaste of this one, it's really that slightly almost slightly spicy, this one, but it's that floral aromaticity, a little bit of the kind of lemongrassy character, and then the nice kind of doughy, slightly peppery, yeasty character from this one. It's just a really nice beer. That's a good way to sum this one up. It's a really nice, kind of light and sessionable beer, and everything just goes together really well in this. The slightly spicy character that the malt base has complements the bigger floral character that you're getting from the hoppy character, from the hops in this one. It just all goes together really nicely, and I like that sort of strong lemony character that the beer has as well, the strong lemongrass and the nice floral aromaticity. It's a really good beer. Let's just leave it at that. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say it's mid-bodied. I think this one yeah, I think it's fair to say this is mid-bodied. It's maybe leaning on the heavier side of mid-bodied, but I always find Belgian beers are just a little bit heavier in the body because of all the yeasty aspects of the flavour. But the carbonation on this one is quite soft. It's got a good oiliness to the mouthfeel, but at the same time it is a bit lighter and a little bit wet into some other Belgian, in comparison to some other Belgian beers that you're going to find. There's a good hoppy bitterness to this one. The malt base has a little bit of sweetness, but overall it is quite smooth, and there's just a little bit of juicy fruit character, but the fruitiness is almost a little bit bitter as well, because it's just that sort of lemony lemongrass character. But overall this is a really nice beer, and if you get the chance to try this one, I do recommend that you have a look at this. I've really quite enjoyed this one, and if you enjoy the Belgian style of beer but you want something that's a little bit lighter, not quite as boozy and a little bit more sessionable, this one is definitely going to hit the spot for you. For me, this is really a nice, if I was in Belgium and just wanted something to session, like to sit next to the water or something and just enjoy a few beers, then this is one of the beers that I would want to go for. So yeah, it's been really cool to review this one, and it's a little bit of a change of pace in comparison with the Belgian beers. It does remind me a little bit of the triple hop Citra that I had from Duvel a few videos ago. It does have that kind of similar feel to it, but it's not quite as heavy in terms of booze. So that's probably a good comparison to make with this one. If you enjoyed the triple hop Citra but you want something that's a little bit lighter in booze, then check out this one. So hopefully I can review its big brother, the Triple X Bitter, at some point in the near future. But it's been really cool to review this one. It's cool that we're getting some of these beers up here in Sweden as well. But once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Brouwerij de Ranke as well. But it's been really cool to do another Belgian brewery for you guys that isn't quite as well known as some of the big ones, of course. So do let me know some other random Belgian breweries that I should have a look at, because I know there's always some surprises. But this one was the Double X Bitter from Brouwerij or Brouwerij de Ranke. in Dottignes near the French-Belgian border. Until the next time, Slange just now, Proust, Santé, depending on what language it is you speak, but I'll catch you guys very soon and we'll be returning to some more Belgian beers very shortly as well. Slange just now, and make sure you check out this beer. Cheers.